UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live podcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back with you. 12 minutes to the top of the hour of 11 p.m. Like I oftentimes say, when there is an opportunity to come early, we do honor that opportunity and take it with both arms. And today is one of those days, given how haphazardly we've moved during the course of the World Cup. But more importantly, even on other days, you've been kind enough to indulge me when I've fallen short in terms of my timekeeping. But so I also give you or offer you that common courtesy to do the honors, to come right on time when we have the opportunity, or perhaps even more than just on time. And tonight we are at the Foxborough Stadium in Boston, where Morocco are set to take on France in the first quarterfinal of the FIFA World Cup 2026. Yes, it is bound to be quite the encounter. As I say this now, or as we speak, players are walking through the tunnels. They are walking through what appears to be the lengthy tunnels from their dressing rooms to come to that zone where we expect them to eventually emerge out and walk onto the turf. That is the expectation. So in the next couple of minutes. Okay. With that said, you will allow me put up a poll question for today, so that we can get the conversation going without wasting any further ado as we wait for other colleagues to join the stream. This evening, we'll also get to talk about the transfers that are really taking shape, including Manchester United, who are set to sign Carlo Dallo, the former Leeds goalkeeper, who is a free agent. The 35-year-old is set to join Manchester United with the expectation that Altai by India will be leaving the club this summer. So, but also while we wait to discuss all that, you can also take part in our poll question for today, which is who will win the battle, France versus Morocco. That's the discussion. There's no neutrals. There are no neutral results to say it will end in a draw. Tekken Move says, bro, how is the World Cup reached? Watch this Argentina. Bro, how is the World Cup reached? Watch this Argentina versus Egypt 3. French referees. Argentina versus Switzerland. 3 Portuguese referees. How is it rigged? Well, I don't think it's rigged primarily or if it were to be rigged solely on the referees that get to be chosen to preside over one single game. You know, for you to rig a tournament as such as the World Cup, it cannot be on the basis of one single match, one single referee, or one single cycle, if you do believe that it is a rigged tournament. So I'll give you an example. The referees for this particular game are all Argentine referees, you know, and they and you know, lots of reports have been written about them to that extent. Facundo Tello. Tello is the Argentine man in charge. Juan Pablo Belatti is the first assistant. Second assistant is Gabriel Chat from Argentina, while Dario Herrera is the fourth official, also from Argentina, and Christian Navarro as the reserve assistant referee. So, I mean, it is for the first time, it is happening in this tournament that all on-field referees are from the same country, you know. So, even when it's not even when it's not meant to rig the system or the game, it becomes coincidental, it becomes suspicious that you have made it as such. Now, I understand there's a first time for everything. Now, you have Argentina, who are still in the competition, and by virtue of being in the competition, there's allegation or conspiracy theory, or whichever you may want to term it as such, that the tournament is being rigged to their favor or is being officiated in their favor. in one way or the other. So then you do not sort of give that narrative support by making this kind of decision. Like I've said before, I'm not one to believe in conspiracy theories, but those that believe in them, those that carry them, once they carry them with certain evidences with them, you ought to give them a listening ear and say, okay, it's not just a blanket statement that they are throwing out there, but they have cause to be submitting in the manner in which they could be submitting. And at the end of the day, we may not agree, but sometimes the evidence is too strong to sort of desist. It may not be conclusive, it may be subjective, it may be circumstantial, it may be even coincidental sometimes, but it's nonetheless still evidence. It makes it no less evidence just because it is, circumstantial or coincidental or whichever term you may use to define it. Anyways, so that's about it. So the anthems are being sung, but as we go through the anthems, Maurice Kato says, I think we should force ourselves to watch football in neutral perspectives, that when we shall have the best wide opinion. Now, thank you, Maurice, about that. Now, you see, the bit about the controversy regarding Argentina versus Egypt is that you've had lots of neutrals, people who had nothing to do or sides to choose in that particular game, and it's come from all angles. Because if it were coming from Africans, it would be easy to say, oh, Africans feel enraged, they were all in favor of Egypt, etc., etc. But then you also have it from the other side of the aisle who say, come on, guys, if we're going to officiate the game in that manner, the least we can offer ourselves the opportunity is the case of consistency. So the inconsistencies in the officiation of that particular game that is being cited and other games are too, as supporting evidence to the benefit of Argentina, as some would want to make it appear, is that they are also from the other side of the aisle. And the beauty of that, or in the aftermath of that, is that as interacting with an Argentine fan who said, we won the game, but I did not feel that we won it on merit. I felt that in one way or the other, the game was skewed in our favor based on the manner in which the referee behaved. Now, if you have a few heads, even those that are aligned with Argentina, that say Egypt have cause to feel enraged because it was also part of it, then that's worth listening to. So whether you're a neutral and you come with all the objectivity that you'd love to have, whether you are aligned on Argentina's side or on the Egyptian side, we do not interrogate your emotions. What we interrogate are the evidences that you bring on table, not the emotions. Because if we interrogate the emotions of the individuals or the people, then we definitely lose the debate. Rio Dandy says, hello, sir, Garnacho is leaving. Well, Chelsea are willing to listen to offers for Alejandro Garnacho just 1 year after spending £40 million on him from Manchester United. Now, is there a club that is going to be willing to offer £40 million or in the excess of £40 million to Chelsea for Alejandro Garnacho? There's no reason to suggest that that is impossible, because as we have seen, Chelsea have a knack of selling players, and not just selling players, but literally selling them for a premium. As we speak, they did agree a deal with Manchester United to sell Andre Santos for £50 million, £48 million guaranteed fees, plus £2 million in expected add-ons. Now, one would ask the question, how is that so? Because it's only a couple of years back when they signed him for anywhere between 17, 18 to 20 million pounds from Vasco da Gama. He went on to have a season and a half loan stint at Strasbourg. He's only had one season at Chelsea where he's made 43 appearances across all competitions, including 27 of those coming in the Premier League, with 14 of them coming on as a substitute, where he scored only one goal. But across all competitions, he scored 3 goals and provided 4 assists. Now, when you reflect on the exaggerated, context of the transfer window and its prices, you sort of understand that it does sound a reasonable fee for a 22-year-old who is quite versatile, an 8/10, but can also be adapted to play as a 10, as a 6. It may not be his cup of tea, but he's nonetheless still capable. So Chelsea have that knack, and they'll explore those options. So that is happening as we speak. Then, so plenty of news is making the rounds as we speak. But according to Fabrizio Romano, Andre Santos has completed a successful medical as a new Manchester United player. Clubs signed all documents for £50 million package, a deal. So Andre Santos signs tomorrow, Friday, on deal until June 2031, plus option, I think, for a further year. That's at Man United. So looks like everything has been done. It's all that is left is for the player to put pen to paper. And then Morten Hillman has completed also his medical ahead of wrapping up a move from Sporting CP to Atletico Madrid on a 5-year contract in a deal worth 45 million euros, with 40 million euros of that being the guaranteed fees. So that is also happening as we speak. Then, okay, so then Manchester United, like I said, did also agree a deal to sign Carlo Dallo as a new backup goalkeeper. That's because the expectation is that Altay Bayindia is going to be leaving the club. And I know I've heard that a couple of Turkish clubs may be interested in his services. So there's that as well. So those are some of the deals that are happening. Of course, there's plenty of deals that are happening. We'll continue to, discuss them as we go. For example, Annan Cagliari to Inter is a here we go deal in place for 25 million euros as fixed fee, plus add-ons from Union St. Cloisy to join Inter Milan. So that deal is also happening. Till Game says, how is the match going? Well, the match is just getting underway. We're just a couple of seconds away from the referee blowing his whistle for a kickoff in that regard. Meanwhile, speaking of the World Cup, England's Jorel Quenshaw has been handed a 2-match suspension or a 2-match ban following his red card that he suffered during England's 3-2 victory over Mexico at the round of 16 at the Azteca Stadium in Mexico City. So, England were sort of wanted to make an appeal for the suspension to be lifted or to be suspended, for it to be a suspended, match ban until such a time when the World Cup ends, using the precedent that FIFA have set themselves in lifting that red card for Flan Balogun. Meanwhile, the game has kicked off and we'll get into the starting 11s for both teams. Till Gamer is asking, who are you supporting? I'm not really aligned to anybody. Like I said, guys, I had my heart broken already in as far as the World Cup is concerned. Brazil were knocked out, Ghana were knocked out. So I've been quite intent on not choosing a side, so that it does not become a pattern that whichever team I root for ends up being knocked out. So I'll watch the game as a neutral and enjoy it for what it is on its merits. I'll be cheering Michael Olise as he dribbles past some players, but I'm also disappointed that Ismail Saibari is absent in this one through injury, So then Akraf Hakimi, as he does his overlapping right back role, I'll have to see that. I want to enjoy Ayubu Buadi in that midfield alongside Neil El Anoy in that midfield, or Nahi in that number 10 role, supporting the likes of Brahim Diaz. I want to enjoy that without particularly being aligned to any side. But if you are aligned to any side, or even if you aren't, please leave me your prediction down in the comment section. But also please take part in our poll question tonight. For tonight, who do you think will win this battle? France or Morocco? Last campaign in 2022, Morocco became the first African team to advance to the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup. I think, was it Belgium? I stand to be corrected on that one, but they made it nonetheless. Today, they come up against a team that has played 2 consecutive World Cup finals. In 2018, they were champions. In 2022, they were losing finalists. So that's how good and how big a team they are up against. And 2-time champions of the World Cup in 1998 and in 2018. So clearly, Morocco have a whole mountain to climb in as far as things go. Which was your favorite match so far in terms of entertainment? In terms of entertainment, I really, really enjoyed the game between Netherlands and Sweden. Sweden may have been beaten 5-1, but that result was not indicative of the kind of performance I saw from Sweden. The difference was Bart Verbruggen in the goal for Netherlands, and perhaps either you may call it a lack of luck or a misfortune or a lack of cleanliness or sharpness or cutting edge. But oh my God, that game could have easily ended 7-5 in favor of Sweden. But Verbruggen was the difference in that game. So that was one of my best games of the campaign. Then England versus Croatia. I really, really enjoyed that game. And as you can notice, there's a pattern of many goals being scored, but maybe not wholly the point. Then I did enjoy Cape Verde versus Argentina at the round of the round of 32. That was a beautiful game to watch. Then there's a game USA versus Paraguay. That game, I think USA won. Was it 4-1? I really, really enjoyed that game. So Kylian Mbappe already looking to test Yassine Bono, and they have a corner kick as he tried to go from distance, trying to squeeze it in at the near post, but Yassine Bono was alive to the challenge. So those are some of the games that I've really, really enjoyed. There could be more to it. So we'll have to wait and see. Sir, your timestamp, my timestamp is 5 minutes past 11 p.m. That's my timestamp, So the other games may not come quickly off of my fingertips, but hopefully, if I remember them as we go, I'll continue to highlight them. But I really, really thought, great performances are out there. Then you say, sir, I meant match timestamp from my side. Yassine Bono being once again tested by Diet Upamecano. Just a second. It's 4 minutes and 52 seconds. 4 minutes and 52 seconds as I speak. So that's the timestamp on my game. Okay. Till Gamer, you say I think similar happened in Norway versus Ivory Coast. Norway kind of got lucky. Yeah. By the way, you I don't know if you guys have noticed. In some of these games, the margins have been really, really small. The differences have been really, really small. Go back to Brazil versus Japan. Yes, Brazil did dominate the game in terms of possession and things like that. But the margins were that slim, that a lapse in concentration leads to Gabriel Martinelli finding the space between Taniguchi and Takehiro Tomiyasu to receive that ball, control it with his left, and put it into the back of the net with his right. You go back to that game, you go back to Canada versus South Africa at the round of 32, the first game. Canada winning that one in stoppage time by 1-0. You go to the game between Ivory Coast and Norway that you cite, 2-1, with Norway scoring in the 86th minute of that game. You go back to the game between England and DRC Congo at the round of 32. Small margins, really. England may have been dominant with the ball, but yes, the goalkeeper, Mbasi, was quite excellent in that game, but it did not feel like a gulf in quality between the two sides, even though overall England were a better side. So I've seen quite a couple of those games where you feel, yeah, that was a close call, German beat up against Ivory Coast by 2-1. But Ivory Coast were the better team on the day. And until they brought the German bring in Dennis Undav, he scores a brace, and the rest is history. But on the other side, Simon Adingra had missed a sitter, literally. As in, he received that ball, and he scored in I don't know how many throws. All he had to do was strike that ball as it came. And then Frank Kessie, with a sort of poor ball control in the second half inside the area of the Germans. So the margins have been quite small in some of these games, really, Okay, the craziest comeback was in Argentina versus Egypt. But then there's also one between Senegal versus Belgium. Belgium was shambolic for 84 minutes. And then they pull one back in the 86th minute. Then in the first couple of minutes of stoppage, no, in the 89th minute, they restore parity. And then we go into extra time and they win a penalty. Dubious as it did feel for me, they got that and won 3-2. And then at the next round, they put Team USA to the sword, crushing them by 4-1. As convincing as a performance as you get at the World Cup, more so at that kind of stage, So the World Cup in itself has been quite entertaining in many respects, but some games have not lived to the billing, in my opinion. I thought Croatia versus Portugal was quite good. Hi, Viola. Good evening. How is your day today? I hope you're doing okay. Tiff Gamer, I say, but my favorite match was Argentina versus Cape Verde. I think we all enjoyed that. Viola says she's watching fast. Okay, we're also watching along as we go. Please participate in that poll question and let us know who you're rooting for. But more importantly, in the comment section, you can give me your prediction. Do you think we're going to have this one end in normal time, or it will go into extra time? Or are we bound for even penalties? Is there a possibility of that happening? So, anyways, we'll go through the starting 11s quickly as the game enters its 10th minute thus far. Tilgamer says, I'm hoping for Argentina versus Norway match, probably in the semi-finals or even final. Those two cannot meet in the final. They can only meet in the semi-finals because they are on the same arm of the road to the final. Would be great to see Norway in the final, but Norway team isn't that good apart from Haaland, so it would feel undeserved or underdeserving. Well, if you make it to the final, you make it to the final because you deserve to be there, because you've worked for it. I thought Norway have done well, actually. Beyond Brad Erling Haaland, who's done his job of scoring the goals, I thought players like Martin Odegaard, Patrick Badge, Sander Badge have been really, really good. And there's that Christopher Aja, then their goalkeeper, he's called Ojan something. They've been good. They've been good. So forget the match day 3 of the group stage in which they lost to France by, was it 4-1 or something? Forget that game because they rested their entire first team because they needed not to try and go for the win. They knew they knew what path they wanted to take, and they had already qualified. So, but I think they've done okay as a team. But before you wish for them to make it to the semi-finals, let's see if they can get past England, because that's their next opponent. Okay, Viola says the game will go into extra time, but it will go 2-1. That's 2-1 in favor of France because it is France versus Morocco in that particular order. At least I would want to believe that's what she's implying. Then, okay, France have Mike Maignan in goal, Jules Koundé, David Upamecano, William Saliba, Lucas Digne, Manu Kone, and Adrien Rabiot in that midfield. Ousmane Dembele, Michael Olise, and Desile Doué with Kylian Mbappe starting. On the other side, Yassine Bono is in goal. Nusa Mazraoui and Issa Diop are into the centre-back pairing. Akraf Hakimi is in there at right back, while Salah Edin, he's called Anas Salah Edin, is at left back. Then Ayubu Bouadi in that central midfield role alongside Neil El Anoui. Then Ounahi, Chamsdine Telabi, and then Beral El Kanos with Brahim Diaz. Now, Beral El Kanos has been played as the false 9. Remember, that's the role that Ismail Saibari has been occupying, but he does miss out in today's encounter. He's on the bench. He's made it to the bench, at least, but he wasn't fully fit enough to start this game. That's why you are not seeing him start, and yet he's been one of their most decent performers. Yes, Norway should win against England. Which club soccer team do you support? That's from Serious Fanbat. Serious Fanbat. How come I feel that this is like the third time you're asking me that question? But beyond my innate love for soccer as the entirety of a sport, I do align myself with Arsenal and Real Madrid and any other underdog on a given day, given with that. Okay, 6 votes so far cast, and it's a 50-50 for those of you that think it's Morocco or France that will advance. But so far, France have been quite dominant on the ball. Tilgema, you say, but Harry Kane and Judy Bellingham are amazing. Norway will have a very hard time. Whatever England look to do that is positive, they must find a way of neutralizing the threat that Martin Odegaard presents in helping to control the tempo and improve the chances of Norway's domination on the ball. So they must find a solution for that. I don't know who will be charged with that responsibility, but they must seek solutions for that. Soccer or football? You said no soccer and yes to football. Well, one term can be used in place of the other. That's how I find it. Even though for the Americans, football, they want to lead us to believe that football means something entirely different. In their abridged version of rugby, they created American football, you know. It's the abridged version of pure rugby, you know. So the difference, I think, is in outfits and a couple of rules, sets of rules here and there. Mbappe scared today. Well, I think it will be okay. You cannot write him off. Oh, that's quite confident from Yassine Bono and his backline. Ousmane Dembele nearly closed them down. The Moroccans are being quite confident on building that ball from out of the back without needing to panic. I think Lucas Digne might be penalized for that foul on Ounahi. Brahim Diaz, Ounahi scored a brace in their 3-0 victory versus Canada at the round of 16. As a late challenge from Lucas Digne, quite deserved of a free kick. Mbappe to score today. Oh, okay. He's seeking to also go to the equivalent of Messi's tally of 8 goals in the competition. So good luck for him. He's had an okay tournament, an excellent tournament. Couple of penalties, you know. Akraf Hakimi, that's too deep, way too deep in. It's literally rugby with lots of protection. Exactly. That's what I feel about American football. So every time I've watched it, and I've not watched it per se live, I've watched it in highlights, but also in movie snippets where it has been depicted as a sport. And I'm always thinking to myself, what's the difference between this and rugby? Besides the headgear, the shoulder padding, and, you know, the sort of way, the dress code, but, you know, they make a run, they do a touchdown, they have a kick in, whichever you call it. And basically, you know, they have that thing that they do where the ball is literally in between the legs and people bend down and they're pushing towards each other. I don't know the technical term for that. Everything looks the same. Almost everything looks the same. So I don't know who was too bored to come up with that invention that they must have detested certain things in rugby that they decided to create their own version, you know, and then call it American football. I mean, how is it football, yet the only time they kick the ball is if it's a set play? Majority of the time, somebody is holding on to that ball and running away with that ball and is being tackled by whomever, you know. So Make it make sense. Quarterbacks and whatnots, you know. So indeed, it does feel like rugby with lots of protection, American football, but that's their sport. That's their sport. But also, do not blame them for calling it soccer. It is the Europeans that called it soccer. And when Americans adapted to calling it soccer, then suddenly they came up and said, no, it's football. So Americans stayed locked into calling it soccer, and then Europe decided to revert to football, you know. Uh-oh, as a decent cross in at the back end of the post. It's like they created baseball from cricket. But baseball is at least quite different. Yeah. You know, at least the baseball bat is different from the one of cricket. But then also, there's a throw, there's a catch. Okay, the parameters are a bit different, but again, you can see lots of similarities there. It's like these guys of woodball. Woodball is like the grass version of hockey, literally. Okay, there's certain differences, but you know. So it does feel that way. It does feel that way. You know, there's a game called handball where people play with their hands and then they're shooting that ball with their hands into a back of a net. It's like a futsal, but instead of using legs, people use their hands, you know? So that's what it feels like. It's 19 minutes played, but the game is still goalless, so you're not missing much thus far. You're not missing much. You are not missing much thus far. Meanwhile, Arsenal have already agreed to personal terms with Bruno Guimaraes as they seek to sign him from Newcastle. Although Newcastle are adamant they do not want to sell, but the player has expressed interest in wanting to leave the Magpies. However, Newcastle say they will also not budge for £60 million, which is being reported to be Arsenal's second offer for the 28-year-old Brazilian star who turns soon 29. Yes, handball is fun. Okay, if you say so. Then Real Madrid expect Aurelio Tchouameni to stay this summer and also sign a new contract. They do not want to sell the midfielder, despite interest from Manchester United. So there's also that. Lots of deals happening. Lots and lots of deals happening as we speak. Arsenal are also expected to sign Christopher Zolis for about £35 million as a total package from Club Brugge. You know, so then Newcastle are close to reaching a full agreement with Freiburg over a €60 million move for Johan Manzambi. However, the Magpies must still finalize personal terms and are cautious over the possibility of a hijack. Aston Villa are among the other clubs tracking the highly rated Swiss international. So there's that. Now, you know, in the wake of Manchester United signing Andre Santos from Chelsea, reports have continuously emerged that on the back of agreeing that deal for Andre Santos, Manchester United will conduct a thorough medical exam on Henderson before determining on whether to proceed with the €45 million deal. Clarity is expected now that the World Cup has finished. That's for Team Brazil.
Now that has sort of raised eyebrows because when a team is trying to take extra scrutiny, it almost feels like they want to botch the deal. And now I do not know whether that is the exactness of things, but yeah, United are simply saying they'll sort of maybe take a double keen eye. The player has a history of suffering a meniscus knee injury that kept him out of action for about a month or more than that. Yet a similar injury has kept out players for much longer periods. So they need to be sure about that. You remember how Victor Boniface failed his medical in an attempted move to AC Milan? Same happened to Gianfilippo Mateta. So sometimes when players fail their medical tests, anything can happen to a proposed move. So we will keep our eyes peeled to that and see where the road leads. I'm glad they didn't create their own version of basketball and call it loop ball or something. They walk around like they invented basketball. I don't know if they did invent it, but that's what it does feel like oftentimes. That's what it does often feel like sometimes. Mm-mm. Uh-oh. Really, Kylian Mbappe, you wanted a foul for that? Come on. Ball was one off of you quite smoothly. Meanwhile, Morocco are yet to test Mike Maignan. We've not seen much to suggest that there's going to be goals in this opening half. Yes, Yassine Bono has been tested at least twice, but um, it was easy collections, you know. Um, Ballon d'Or nominee, Hurricane. I think one of these days we should be asking ourselves whether Hurricane deserves to win the Ballon d'Or. Uh-oh, France here they come, quick counter-attack. Kylian Mbappe, oh, he's fouled, and it's a penalty. Facundo Tello points to the penalty spot. Nusa Mazaroi being the culprit or bringing Kylian Mbappe down. Nusa Mazaroi brought him down, and as soon as he did, he feared for the worst. And he was obviously VAR have done their part in scrutinizing that. Kylian Mbappe will step up to take it. I think post this penalty, will be heading into the hydration break. 19 goals in 19 games for Kylian Mbappe thus far. Will he score or will he miss? Didier Deschamps watches on. It's a pressure penalty, especially when you're up against a goalkeeper like Yassine Bono.
What's taking so long? What's taking so long? I mean, surely gave the penalty. There's no condition to it. But VAR check was the one delaying us. Looks like it's done. Sometimes the longer it takes to take the penalty, the most team is taken out of it. And it's been saved. Yasin Bono saves it. And the game remains 0-0. Oh, he literally passed that. He literally looked to pass that. It has no power to it. It's quite slow. It's just a poor penalty, not good enough. Obviously, if it had gone in, we would be saying otherwise. But now that the goalkeeper saved it, you ought to give the goalkeeper Yasin Bono his credit. But yeah, it's we've seen much better from Kylian Mbappe before, and that isn't. And that's what I was saying. When it takes so long to take a penalty, it almost feels like steam is being blown out of it. That heat of the moment, you know. I mean, I wish he had gone for some bit of power on the ball. That sort of run, stop, and then. And he knew, I think, as soon as he takes that penalty, as soon as the ball leaves his foot, I think he knew. Anyways, they've sent us into the hydration break at long last. You know, at long last, we are into the hydration break. So, guys, do you think Hurricane deserves to win the Ballon d'Or this year? Because his numbers have been quite tremendous. Yes, he won the DFB Pokal, he won the German Bundesliga, he made it to the semi-finals of the UEFA Champions League. His side are into the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Obviously, he needs to take them a little further than that, perhaps even to the finals or even better, win it. But what do you guys think? Hurricane to win the Ballon d'Or? Because, I mean, 63 games he's featured in this season thus far, 73 goals scored, 8 assists. That's an 81 goal involvement. So those are some really crazy numbers, or really wonderful numbers, you know. You remember in 2010 when Lionel Messi won the Ballon d'Or, and he had beaten, I think he had bettered Gerd Muller's, I think, record of scoring the most goals in the calendar year, which had been, I think, at about 85. So Messi went on to score 92, and then he won the Ballon d'Or. I was thinking to myself, anyway, it's one of those that I oftentimes critique when it comes to Ballon d'Or records and stuff like that. You know, Cairo says football is no longer the same. What's this? What do you mean, what's this? I understand you not enjoying a game. I have to say maybe it's slow, maybe it's not as entertaining, maybe it's not meeting your overall expectations. I understand that and respect that, but it's not like it's immune to this only game. We've seen quite a couple of those where, you know, a game does not live to the bidding. Anyways, moving on to some bit of transfer news. Arsenal did complete the signing of Ilan Melia. Now, guys, as pronouncing the S, it's not supposed to be pronounced. So why is it there if it is not supposed to be pronounced? French people, indulge me, because he's a French goalkeeper. Ilan Melia, the 26-year-old French goalkeeper, does join Arsenal and becomes the, ninth goalkeeper that Arsenal have signed since Mikel Arteta was appointed. Some of them have been really poor signings when it comes to goalkeepers. But actually, the 7th goalkeeper, you have the goalkeepers like Runason, Ryan, you remember Ryan, Ramsdale, Matana, David Raya, Neto, Tommy Setford, Kepa Arrizabalaga, and now Ilan. That's quite a number. Actually, it's more than that. They're about 8. They're about 8. Oh, no, 9 actually. 9 goalkeepers. Because, okay, let's count again. Runason, Ryan, Kepa, Matana, Neto, Raya, Setford, Masila. Who have I missed? Ramsdale. That's quite a number. Goalkeepers. And the only time you can argue he's gotten it right, it's been twice. Obviously, Tommy Setford comes in as a youngster, and there's a lot of speculation that he will be sent out on loan for him to develop a bit further, Okay, what do you think about the penalty? Did he miss for real, or it was planned for him to miss? Why would he plan to miss a penalty? Make it make sense. Why would he plan to miss a penalty? It was just a poor penalty. It was just a poor penalty. So there's that. Then also there's some leg news revolving around Christian Eriksen, as quoted from the Daily Mail, that apparently he wants to return to action, even when doctors have warned that it does stand a risk of exacerbating his heart conditions. According to Daily Mail, according to Touchline, as quoted from the Daily Mail on X, says Christian Eriksen is preparing to return to football despite doctors warning that another serious heart incident is only a matter of time. The Danish midfielder will begin an individual rehabilitation program in Denmark after collapsing for a second time last month. His ICD successfully restored his heart rhythm during the incident. So, why can't he call it quits? Why can't he call it a career? And, we move on from that. Bro, this is so much money involved. Think of how many bets were placed today for this game. Yasin Bono saves from Desiree Doué's attempt. Now, obviously, bets are placed, but are they placed with players? You see, for people that want us to sell us the idea that football is scripted or fixed sometimes, yes, it has been fixed sometimes. We've heard of those reports from numerous leagues and stages of football. But some of the things that are really, really hard to script is when a goal is scored, the actual moment that a goal is scored, because even if you want to say, it's really hard to bet that a player will score in the 35th minute, because you don't even know whether that ball will be in play at that exact point in time, So it makes it a bit hard. As a beautiful attempted pass for Michael Olise to try and find Kylian Mbappe, but he could not bring it under control. So I know there's much money into betting. So let me ask, if you went and placed a bet with a betting company, whether Betway, whether Bet Power, whether 22bet, whether 365bet, Skybet, whatever it is, 1xBet, how would that involve Kylian Mbappe to lead him to the extent of missing a penalty? Look, Jazzy, number 14, talking to Dembele before the penalty. That doesn't prove anything, really. That doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove anything, really. You're talking about the Issa Diop. But Issa Diop was not the penalty taker, nor was it Dembele, you know? Manu Kone fouled. France have not been that electric. They've if more people bet Mbappe is gonna score first half, yeah, just because more people bet is going to score first half doesn't mean he'll end up missing goals intentionally just not to fulfill their bets. You know? Morocco are here to test Mike Maynard. We're into the final 7 minutes of the opening stanza, plus whatever else will be added on top of that. I hate extra time. I'll never stop saying that. I don't like extra time. I like the game to end in normal time. And this one is not that entertaining that I'd even be urging for it to go to extra time. Champs the entire be try to find a cutback. I need to see France trying to move that ball a lot more quicker. Maybe, just maybe then, they'll catch the Moroccans by surprise. Anukone, here they come. Decent pass to Desli Doe. It was actually Mbappe. The audacity of the Moroccans. Ah. The game is a bit of a lackluster. Akraf Hakimi busy inverting into midfield. Onahi pulling to the wings. I think if Morocco score fast, this game will be unlocked. So now I'm rooting for Morocco to score fast so that the game can be unlocked. Shakira and her two sons out there enjoying the World Cup. Uh-oh. McMahon may as well go on holiday. It's just not working. The flicks, the short passes, the through passes, all not working, failing to find the intended targets. Can Dembele not dribble past anybody? And ball just goes out of play. It is beyond the reach of Jules Koundé. Antoine Griezmann appears out there with I think perhaps the daughter. He's going to be playing in the Major League Soccer next season for, is it Colorado Rapids? I don't remember exactly. Will be playing for Orlando City. Anton Griezmann. Sometimes these French players are so static. They are so static. Oh, that's a decent pass. Oh, Anukone trying to have a crack at it. It's deflected back into play. Oh, Lisa tried to go for it, but it was wide. Oh, Lucas Digne rattles the crossbar in the second minute of added time of the first stanza. Goes on from distance on his left foot, and he rattles the crossbar. He was dipping in, and it did appear as though like Yasin Bono had been beaten. Uh-oh. As a tag on Leslie Doe, Akraf Hakimi held on to him for a little too long, but both players were tagging each other, well acquainted to one another. They trained together at Paris Saint-Germain. Ousmane Dembele dropped the ball. Morocco, give us something. Give us something to, to think about in this first half. They're not even having a crack at it. Nobody's going from distance. They've not been good enough to get themselves into shooting distance, but that's a handball. It went off Adrian Rabiot's handball, and the referee gives a free kick. Maybe this is Morocco's chance. Brahim Diaz was looking to, I think, to cross it. Usually Akraf Hakimi takes a crack at these ones, but it's best suited for a left-footed player than it is for Hakimi, the African player of the year, reigning African player of the year. That's 2025. It's going to go for it. And it was poor, way off targets. He could not carve it in. He could not bend it in. How could he not see that? Anyways, that was Morocco's only aim at goal in the entire opening half, and it goes goalless. It's been that sort of not even 50-50. Morocco being defensively strong, France being lacking composure, lacking precision in the final third. About maybe 2-3 times, Yassine Bono has been called into action. He saved the penalty, saved that initial attempt from Kylian Mbappe, and then the other was from, was it Desiree Doué? So there's practically not been much into it in as far as the first half is concerned. So it's been just about that. Nothing much, nothing more. If somebody had missed the opening 45 minutes, all they would have basically missed, would say, is a penalty. But in terms of the intricacies of the game, not much in it. Not much in it. Anyways, United Road 10 says, hello, everybody. Hello to you too, United Road 10. Are you excited about the signing of Carlo Dallo as a free agent after leaving Leeds United? Then Newcastle did complete the signing of Sean Stewart from Ajax for £23 million. That was criminal. Why couldn't they finish VAR checks before allowing Mbappe to line up for the penalty? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. And I don't even know what necessitated the lengthy VAR check. I mean, the on-field decision felt so spot on. I mean, I needed only one replay to affirm what I already felt to be true. And yet, for some reason, For some reason, somehow, somewhere, VAR needed to take more than 2 minutes to confirm that. The kind of things that makes these criminal allegations seem true. Exactly. I mean, is it clear and obvious error by the referee? It didn't feel so. Ah, at long last, finally, United Road 10 and Villa are at their rendezvous. This is their rendezvous. Anyways, Barcelona are interested in signing Karim Adeyemi from Borussia Dortmund, who only has a year left to his current contract. However, Barcelona's initial bid for the 24-year-old has fallen short of the expectations of BVB. They offered the player a new contract, but he says he does not want to renew his terms. All he wants is a move to Barcelona. Doesn't that feel nice? So how does it feel? How does it feel, guys? Shimi says, hello, sir. Hello, Shimi. How are you doing? Good to have you on the podcast. Then Mario Gila will sign his contract at AC Milan after medical over the weekend of 30 million euros. Now, guys, Manchester United have to play AC Milan in their final game of preseason. And the beauty of this is former Manchester United coach in Ruben Amorim will be the guy in the dugout for AC Milan. Isn't that going to be interesting? Now, it's only a pre-season friendly, obviously. We cannot read too much into it. But isn't it an interesting thing that these two meet quite very soon? Unfortunately, AC Milan did not qualify for Champions League football, and that's why... Oh, did they? I think they did. Did they qualify for Champions League football? You know? No, they did not. They missed out on Champions League football. They're going to be playing in the UEFA Europa League, so the two cannot meet. You say worst manager in Premier League history? I mean, he was coaching the worst Manchester United side in history. So perhaps the feeling is mutual. How is France doing? Not good enough. They've done okay. They've created some chances. They've just not made them count. They missed a penalty through Kylian Mbappe. But other than that, yeah, it's been a bit lackluster, in my opinion. They've dominated, surprisingly, Morocco. They sort of possession felt 50-50, although majority of it for Morocco was in their own half. That's what it felt like. They only had one shot on goal, Morocco, and it was way off target. It was from the free kick from Achraf Hakimi. On the other side, France have had a total of 13 shots towards goal or on goal. 5 of them blocked, 5 off target, and 3 on target. So that sort of tells you the France's XG has been recorded at 1.87 compared to 0.04 for Morocco. So that should tell you, paint for you the picture of the difference. He had good players, but benched them all. I don't know if you're talking about Kobe Mainu, but you say he benched Amadi for Omari Fosan, continuously benched Zaxi for Hoyland, benched Anthony. I mean, let's be fair. How many times has Joshua Zaxi come on in a Manchester United game and looked impressive? I think other than that 2-1 victory that you guys recorded at Selhurst Park, in which he scored, I sort of struggled to find how many impressive performances I've seen Joshua Zaxi in Manchester United colours, and yet he was one of the smartest as they returned today for pre-season. I saw Brandon Belmo with his lengthy beard, you know. Anyways, bench Anthony, bench Casemiro for some academy guy. Was it Lancey? Yeah, but nobody's worse than Rasmus. Rather Zaxi than Rasmus. I mean, Rasmus went to Napoli and he was hacking it, you know. You said, I don't even want to see that guy's face. Maybe I won't watch the game. Isn't that a little too much for hatred? So, wait. Do you mean your exchanges with Viola have ended there, or you guys have shifted to email now? You know, I'm supposed to be kept in the loop about this this entanglement. Shimi says if France do not take their chances, Morocco will punish them. They could come to punish them, you know. But Morocco and chances have felt far apart. Obviously, when you are in a bit of, when you feel in control of the game and you do not take your chances, it may come back to bite you or to haunt you, you know. So you say Serie A is washed, not that guy was terrible. No, that guy was terrible. It's not the system. It's not the system. I won't change it for anybody. And yet when he changed it, they managed to beat Newcastle by 1-0. That goal was scored was it by Patrick Dogu? You know? Trump is worse. Okay, that's from McKenna. Viola, what have you been up to? I'm still waiting for her contacts. Lolo, United wrote 10. They respond to you to say, I'm here. Her contacts. Maybe she would have given you her email via perhaps the comment section, but you know our friends from India, once they land on your email, they'll bombard you with emails, you know, both necessary and unnecessary, worthy and unworthy. So okay, yes, then he changed back the next game, Nolo. Yeah, he changed back, and I think wasn't the next game against Burnley, and then, you know, that's when things things stopped working. I'm very happy you're here. Okay. That is Viola being happy. United wrote 10. Take it from one man to another and a well-wisher to inform you that Viola is busy blushing. Her face is reddish. Anyways, let's walk away from all that for a second. But yeah, Manchester United are making moves. Then today, we did get to see Chelsea also. Xabi Alonso arrive at Cobhams in style. You know, and also, Crystal Palace did confirm the signing of Oscar Mingueza as a free agent. So that deal has been completed. Okay, Xabi Alonso, in his message said, the message is we want to share the belief that good things will come if we are together and we create this strength It has to come from us to bring the energy. Together, we can achieve great things in the coming years. He went on to add that the potential of the team and squad made me really excited. It's beautiful to find a squad to work with, create a football idea, bring excitement to the stadium, and connect with the fans. So those were some of the comments from Xabi Alonso on his first day officially at Cobhams. Alonso will be sacked in 6 months. That's McKenna predicting. Okay. Now, in terms of Chelsea's preseason and their responsibilities, they'll play Western Sydney Wanderers on the 28th of July. Then they will play Tottenham Hotspur on the 1st of August. They'll play Juventus on the 5th of August. And then they'll play AC Milan on the 8th of August before playing Johor Daru at Tazim on the 9th of August. Those are the responsibilities of Chelsea. The same Chelsea side are open to listening to offers for Alejandro Garnacho. Now, I think Alejandro Garnacho needs to sign for a little bit of a lesser team. A team like Tottenham Hotspur, a team like Aston Villa, a team like Newcastle of some level. I feel that there he'll be under less pressure. There'll be less scrutiny about him, and he can go about his business a bit quietly. I don't know if he's improved individually, mentally, and his overall discipline and behavior, but it's something that that I hope has improved for his part. Okay. It's funny that all the referees in this game are all from Argentina. Yep. Find that a bit odd. Okay. United Viola responding to United Road says, ask Tribe for my number. Really? We've been down that path before. McKenna says every Chelsea manager gets sacked in 6 months. But Enzo Maresca was there for a year and a half. Obviously, there are those that have not been there even for 6 months. The likes of Liam Rossignol. Mauricio Pochettino was there for a year. Frank Lampard was there for close on to a year and a half. What's his name? Thomas Tuchel was there for more than a year. So eventually, for some it works out, for some it doesn't. Viola still naughty. I thought she stopped. She's still the same Viola. He wasn't. Okay. They are famous for changing managers. Lampard was like 15 years ago. I know sometimes it feels that way because there's a lot of chopping and changing for a team like Chelsea. They do a lot of that. At least they've done a great deal of that. Look, for example, ever since they part ways with Thomas Tuchel, they've had Graham Potter, they've had Frank Lampard as an interim, they've had Mauricio Pochettino, they've had Enzo Maresca, they've had Liam Rossignol, and now they have Xabi Alonso. So it suddenly does feel that way sometimes. Guys, you can connect on Bado. There's a site called Bado. There's another one. I'm forgetting. In the last 10 years, Chelsea has had 10 different managers, including interims and caretakers. This count features 7 permanent managers. Of course, in there you're going to count Carl McPherson twice. You're going to count Lampard, but even thingy, even Manchester United has almost felt that way to a certain extent because they've had more than 10 managers in a space of 13 years. You know, David Moyes, Ryan Giggs, Michael Carrick as an interim. Sorry, Luis van Gaal. From Luis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Michael Carrick interim, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Michael Carrick as interim. Then that's by the Carrick was there twice as interim. Then you had in there Ralf Rangnick. You've had who else? You've had Erik ten Hag. You've had what's his name? Ruud van Nistelrooy. You've had Ruben Amorim, Michael Carrick. Okay, we counted Michael Carrick already. About 11 managers, really. So it certainly does feel that way for those two, you know. Okay. They are famous for changing managers. We are back for the second half. Yes, and Man U have also been shit for the last 10 years. There is a pattern here. Now, I have a feeling that out of these teams, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspurs, I have a feeling at least one of them is going to struggle through next season. I just have that cynical feeling. I don't know who it's going to be, but I have a feeling one of them is going to struggle. It's not going to live to the billing. Because no matter how all teams prepare, they cannot ever go toe to toe without one sort of falling off. I'll stay for you, Arsenal for sure. It could be them for multiple reasons, and whatever the reasons will be for whichever team that is. I just have that cynical feeling with me that one of those top 6 sides or big 6 is going to sort of struggle. And wherever their struggles lead, only time will tell. Uh-oh. Come on. For the first time, we're seeing Morocco playing in France's box. Bilal El Kanous. Uh-oh. Brahim Diaz could not find it through. Viola, thanks for Andre Santos. What's your thoughts on Andre Santos as a footballer? I think Manchester United are getting themselves a very exciting young player. Only 22 years of age, had a great stint at Strasbourg. His debut campaign at Chelsea was okay, including a couple of man of the match performances, including that one between Chelsea, I think, versus Tottenham, that 1-0 victory, in which Chelsea should have scored much, much more. And yeah, 43 appearances across all competitions, 3 goals and 4 assists, quite versatile, an 8/10, but can also play as a 6. So United have the opportunity to mold him into whatever they feel best suits him. He just needs a bit of more regular playing time, you know. I, for one, have looked at him more as a backup to Kobe Mainu. I could be wrong about that. They could operate in the same, team. So, but his versatility is there for the world to see. It's one of quite exciting, quite exciting. Now, a lot of Manchester United fans that have criticized the deal looking at him in comparison to Casemiro, and the two are a bit different, I think, to myself. And I could be wrong about that. But I feel that he's more a minor than he is a Casemiro, you know? Okay. I think he can be top. Yeah, the sky is the limit for him. The ceiling is quite still right up there for him. Do you know that Chelsea gave you a team a star player in Andre Santos? Now, some Manchester United fans, unfortunately, have looked to the failings of Mason Mount, who has struggled with injuries over the last 3 years during his career at Manchester United, to say this is not going to work out. I would want to take its case on its individual merit. So, let's not try to. And by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United woke up and were willing to listen to offers for Mason Mount, who, given how his last 3 years have gone at Manchester United, he deserves to be playing at Everton. No disrespect to Everton. But I sort of feel a stint at Newcastle, Everton could help revive his career, in a way. I like him a lot more than Mateus Fernandes, but which player are we going to give Arsenal? Nah, I don't think Arsenal hold any interest in a Chelsea player this summer, but Enzo Fernandez has been linked with a potential move to Arsenal, which I do not think will materialize. I think it's too expensive a deal to pull off, even if the Gunners were to be interested. So I don't see the possibility of that. United Road 10 is suggesting the abysmal, the unthinkable, that give Arsenal Garnacho. Are you sure this isn't Portugal? Does it feel like Portugal? Actually, this game does feel like Portugal versus Spain, with Spain being dominant on the ball, but doing less with it. Portugal getting, in that sort of final third area, but devoid of ideas, kind of. Even though the possession has been quite 50-50, that's why this game. But at least Morocco have arrived at France's box quite more often in the first half. In the first opening 6 minutes of the second half, more than they did in the entirety of the first half, it feels. Anyways, they need a left winger. Yeah, they need a left winger, but Garnacho is not the answer, because Leandro Trossard, who is bound for an Arsenal exit, is twice the player that Garnacho is. What's up, dog? That's Rio Avi. Hi, Rio Avi. So, really. Now, United Road 10, even when you're recommending poison to your enemy, do not be too cynical. Recommend poison that if they rush enough and to a glass of milk, they could save themselves. Not, is it called what? Polonium? No. Is that Russian famous poison that does not give you a chance? Novichok. I think it's called Novichok. So do not recommend Novichok. France, here they come. What has Ousmane Dembele done in this game? Nothing. Totally nothing. As our dream Garnacho to play in Arsenal, it cannot be the dream of a Chelsea fan to have their player play for Arsenal. Chelsea have some decent players that, Meanwhile, if our Chelsea, I'd be looking to spend some money on Kepa Arrizabalaga as a backup goalkeeper, given that Felipe Jackson is leaving or wants to leave. I'll be spending some money on Gabriel Martinelli. He's worth a better player than Garnacho is. I've been looking to sign Gabriel Jesus as a backup striker. He's 10 times better than Liam Delap. 10 times better than Liam Delap. So really, Chelsea have something that they can pick on from Arsenal if they are not just being too stubborn. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, here comes Mbappe. Morocco have defended so well. Oh, Leslie Doué tests Yassine Bono from distance, but it ends up being a comfortable save. I feel France need to do a little more of that, try and go from distance, because Morocco have defended quite really, really well thus far in this game. But the reverse is also true for the Moroccans. Otherwise, we could have the game drag on like this into extra time. And that would be the least desirable thing. Being quite compact in that 5-3, sometimes it's a 5-3-2 shape. Oh, clearly Mbappe could not keep that on target. Ah, that's a heavy touch. He's missed that. Bit of a heavy touch. May have been offside, but at least he should have been keeping that on target. No, Morocco defend in a 5-3-2 shape, or sometimes in a 5-4-1 shape, sometimes in a 4-4-2 shape, depending. He's off, but still, he's the kind of player you keep on the pitch regardless, because at any one point in time, he's capable of a magical moment or a decisive moment. One of the things that Morocco have done quite effectively is deny France using that central spine. Oh. Alan Shearer says, I changed my mind. We may actually be able to win this thing. It's the hope that kills you. Somebody remind Alan Shearer, it's the hope that kills you. Daniel Berry's sports highlights. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. It's been a couple of days since you passed by here, Daniel Berry Sports. Hope you're doing okay. Two expected goals compared to Morocco's 0.06. And then eventually, Morocco wins this game. And how can we not say that football is an unfair affair? And then the slowness with which they are playing this one, suddenly we'll get into the 80th minute, and then everybody will seem to want to rush. Now it would be the time to rush. Do a concede possession. Morocco can't keep it for long. Mbappe scores. That's brilliant. Tiny little bit of space, cars that beyond the reach of Yassine Bono in goal. And it's 1-0. He obviously looked over to the lower side to see if the flag was up, but I don't think he was suspect of any offside. There's a claim for a potential handball in the build-up to the goal. It will be scrutinized. Let's see what decision will be made, if at all there is cause for concern. Yeah, Viola was right. Mbappe would score in this game if this goal stands. That is Mbappe goal. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Issa Diop was afraid of spreading his body, fearing to commit a handball, but instead acted as the perfect shadow for Kylian Mbappe to curl it around him and hit the back of the net. He does love to score at the World Cup. That's 8 goals. That's as many as he scored at the last edition. And the goal stands. Whatever checks were being confirmed, the goal does stand. How do they say Samina Mina in French? Mbappe is now with Messi. Yeah, it's been quite brilliant. Belal Elkanos will be withdrawn, and Ayubu Buwadi will be withdrawn for Amrabat and Rahimi. Sofian Rahimi. Sofian Rahimi. He did score the 3rd goal for Morocco as they beat Canada by 3-0. He has 2 goals in this tournament thus far. Kylian Mbappe is on the floor. He had better pick himself up. Otherwise, Morocco are not obligated to bring play to a halt. He does feel a bit irritated, like his nose was crushed into. Issa Diop brings Kylian Mbappe down, and he gets a yellow card. Stamp on his foot. Doesn't look pretty. He's set to miss the next game if Morocco were to make it through to the semi-finals. In 2022, Morocco beat Portugal by 0-0. to advance to the semi-finals before being knocked out by France, who had knocked out England at the quarterfinals, while Argentina knocked out Croatia, who had gotten the better of Brazil 4-2 on post-match penalties that had proceeded a 1-all draw. At that time, France beat Morocco by 2-0. Theo Hernandez and Rando Colomwani were the goal scorers, while Argentina beat Croatia 3-0 to advance to the finals, with Lionel Messi scoring a penalty and a brace from Julian Alvarez. Shime says 8 goals for both Messi and Mbappe. Yeah, they're still going toe-to-toe. And very soon we'll have Brad Erling Haaland. Up next tomorrow is Spain versus Belgium. That game will come an hour early. That will be at 10 p.m. East African time. Then subsequently at midnight on Sunday, that will be 10 p.m. UK time. And then at 4 a.m. Switzerland against Argentina. And it's a goal. Goal number 2, Ousmane Dembele on target. He hasn't had the best of games, but he gets himself on the score sheet with a brilliant goal. And finally, Morocco have been breached, unlocked. 2-0 to the good. Ousmane Dembele, I think with his 50th goal of the tournament, his study stood at 4. It does feel like 2022 all over again, although that was at the semi-finals. Ousmane Dembele. He literally passes that into the bottom corner. Yassine Bono gets his fingers to it, but not strong enough to keep it out. And Brahim Diaz can hardly believe it. Dembo. 2-0 to the good. That's why he is a Ballon d'Or winner. "66 minutes played. Soon we'll be headed for the hydration break. And the referee has summoned it. Hydration break time. Mbappe, Ballon d'Or winner. Unfortunately, Mbappe has never won the Ballon d'Or. And it doesn't look close to winning it. Not at the moment. But this is what I did say. If France win the World Cup, with him being the architect, as he has been thus far, then Real Madrid will push his name into that column. But because Ousmane Dembele is coming in behind quite stiffly, I mean, he's a Champions League winner, a French League One winner, he would look poised to collect it for the second time of asking, you know. Simply because at club level, beyond being a top scorer for Real Madrid and in the Spanish La Liga, he ended up with nothing to show for it in terms of accolades. So that would possibly work against him if he were to vie. unless somebody rigs the vote for him. Okay. Some transfer gossip and speculation. Tottenham have made an offer for French international Randall Colomwani, who spent time on loan at Spurs last season, but Juventus but Juventus, where he also had a loan spell, remained favourites to sign the 27-year-old Paris Saint-Germain forward. That's according to Tutto Sport in Italy. Then we spoke about the Christopher Zolis deal to Arsenal from Club Brugge. We are waiting on that. Yes, Viola, it's looking like it. But we talked about Barcelona's interest in the 24-year-old Karim Adeyemi, who has scored by the 36 Bundesliga goals in about 4 seasons. Looks like Warren Zaïre-Emery is coming on for Manu Kone. Ordinarily, Tchouaméni would be the more natural replacement, but I don't know why they've not looked at him. Warren Zaïre-Emery, another PSG player on the pitch. Then Manchester United are preparing to make a move for French midfielder Manu Kone, who is keen to test himself in the Premier League, plus Juventus would be willing to sell the 25-year-old at the right price. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Why is Manu Kone being attributed to Juventus when he's at AC Roma? When he's an AC Roma player? So scratch that. It's from AC Roma. But that's according to Team Talk. Liverpool and Arsenal are both reluctantly prepared to loan Morocco midfielder Ayubu Bouadi back to Lille if they can't sign him this summer, as the French club wants to keep the 18-year-old for one more season. That's according to Football Insider. Then English forward Mason Greenwood is close to joining Fenerbahce, with the Turkish club submitting offers both to Marseille and the 24-year-old's representatives. That's according to Sky Italy. Then Crystal Palace and Fulham might move for Southampton's Northern Ireland midfielder Shea Charles, 22, after Leeds failed with 2 offers. That's according to Sky Sport. You say, what a player, great passer. My man of the match, though, is Dayot Upamecano. That's an interesting take. It's not that bad, but I don't think the French defense has been tested well enough. Oh, that Upamecano nearly miskilled that into the back of his own net. He was sort of stretching, leaning in at it, and he slices it the wrong way, and Morocco have a corner kick for themselves. Then Manchester United target Tchouaméni has committed his future to Real Madrid. We've spoken about that. Nottingham Forest have spoken to Feyenoord about Netherlands under-21 right back Givairo Reed, 20, who is also on Manchester City's radar. That's according to the Mail. Oh, Nahi could not keep that one in. Leeds United's Brazilian goalkeeper Lucas Perry, 28, and Southampton and England goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale are attracting loan interest from Serie A club Torino in Italy. That's according to Sky Italy. While Brentford and Brahim Diaz and Salah Eddin have been withdrawn for Vassin and Owahi. Brentford and Tottenham are interested in Guinea defensive midfielder Usman Diabate, 18, and believe they could sign him from Turkish club Gen Celebric. Jesus Christ, that's a difficult name to pronounce. For about £3 million plus bonuses. And then Coventry are set to sign 22-year-old Switzerland defender Amenda from Eintracht Frankfurt for about £17 million. That's according to Bild in German. Then Aston Villa are expected to stand firm over Argentine goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez amid its continued interest from Juventus. That's according to the Birmingham World. So that's some of the transfer gossip and speculation making the rounds as compiled by BBC Sport. Okay. 74 minutes played and France continue to lead by 2-0. Second half goals from Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele are still the difference here. Morocco would be the last African team to exit the tournament. We could be bound for an all-European semi-final, by the way, if Switzerland can knock out Argentina. Kylian Mbappe down is just from the hydration break. He's feeling a bit of discomfort. He's said to be withdrawn. He's said to be withdrawn for Jean-Philippe Mateta. Must be feeling something in his ankle or something. One of those players that may as well have had to play through a bit of injury. Bradley Bacola is being ready to come on. Jean-Philippe Mateta comes on for Kylian Mbappe, while Desli Doué will pave the way for his teammate Bradley Bacola. Mbappe out. Yep. Perhaps he's already scored the leading 2-0. He does not need to kill himself for the game after feeling a bit of discomfort. Apologies on the internet glitch. You'd rather walk out and wait for the semi-final because I don't think they're going to collapse and squander 2-0 lead like Egypt did or like Senegal did against Belgium. If that were to happen, wouldn't it be quite the story? It's been a bit slow for Morocco, contrary to what we are accustomed of them. Uh-oh. Just needed to back heel that one. Bakola looking for the cutback, but couldn't get it. Shimi says Argentina will go out because they do not know how to defend. Look at how France attack and defend. Really, really good. They've been quite effective. They haven't conceded many goals. To be fair, they conceded one versus Norway. They conceded one versus Senegal. So they don't concede one too many. Argentina, on the other side, have conceded 4 in the last 2. United Road 10, are you still there? Are you still around? Cairo says, hope Spain wins so maybe we can watch a better game. Well, let's see what happens. Remember, it was Spain that beat France 5-4 in the semi-finals of the UEFA Nations League before they themselves lost to Portugal 3-2 on post-match penalties that preceded a 2-2 draw in the finals of the UEFA Nations League. I think the referee has handled himself well thus far. There hasn't been too many points of contention. You know, Argentina are like a mouse avoiding a mousetrap. Soon it will be trapped. Aha, interesting analogy there. Uh-oh. Akraf Hakimi had put that in the dangerous position. Akraf Hakimi fouled. I think Adrian Rabiot is the suspect. Hasn't too much in that. Moroccans are praying everybody. Oh, at long last, Onahi has tested Mike Maynard. Decent shots. Mike up to the challenge. Mike Menan is handed the captain's armband. Oh, lots of pushing and shoving in the area. Hardly saw where that ball landed, but it was headed into the side net. Bit of a tight angle. Shimi says, I expect Spain to destroy Belgium unless Belgium off something have realized that Spain do not have a player who plays as a number 9. They have Mikel Oyarzabal. They have Mikel Oyarzabal of Real Sociedad. Uh-oh. Five minutes of normal time left until the 90th minute mark. France, here they come again. Bradley Bacola cutting in on the inside to Olise. Oh, Olise could not call it on target. Hasn't been very unfortunate with the sight of goal. Hasn't been very fortunate. France withdraw Jules Koundé for Malo Gusto of Chelsea. This is literally alone in that midfield. Uh-oh. Ah, Dembele looked to find Jean-Philippe Mateta, but he fell short. I want only Spain to stop France, okay? So who are you rooting for, Viola? If you want Spain to stop France, who do you want on the other side of the semi-finals? Oh, Bradley Bacola testing Yasin Bono at the near post. Don't think it was even going to hit the target. Did appear like it was going off. Gusto is in. Yes, that's true. Which club wants Bacola? Arsenal and Liverpool are all interested in signing Bradley Bacola from Paris Saint-Germain. Oh, Jean-Philippe Mateta could not keep that one low. Two minutes of normal time left. Uh, 20 attempts on goal, 7 on target for France, compared to 4 on target in total for Morocco, and only 1 on target. That's the tale story of this game. As we wait to know how much of added time there will be at the end of this, Vela says I want Morocco to score. Oh, I forget. Your prediction was 2-1, although you had said the game would go to extra time. Unfortunately, there will not be extra time unless a miracle does happen. Morocco have done Africa proud, but Cape Verde have won our hearts. That's quite perfectly said. Cape Verde did win our hearts indeed. Their goalkeeper Vosnia, how they competed against Argentina, how they behaved. They are the only team that exited the tournament, I think, without losing a game in 90 minutes or in no more time. 6 minutes of added time. Moroccans out there cheer their team on regardless. They'll be proud. The exploits. Uh-oh. Lucas Digne clears. Cairo says, Viola says France is unstoppable. Maybe. Cairo says, wish Nigeria qualified. Morocco are. Nigeria did not deserve to qualify. That's why they're not here. They were knocked out by DRC Congo in the playoffs. They could not top their own group at the time. Finished second like Uganda in the group, although they had the tally of points that took them to the playoffs. Two minutes of the 6 minutes of added time played thus far. France are no longer even committing the numbers up front, basically playing to see this one out. As good interplay, Adrian Rabiot to Mateta loses out. That's quite the way to beat the press. Long pass. Oh. How does he deny that? It was so obvious that he stretched his hand out to get the ball. What a boring game. France was training. Who is the best defender in the world right now? It's a difficult question to answer. But William Saliba is definitely one of those. Oh, Jean-Philippe Mateta's attempt was as weak as a baby shot. I'd say William Saliba is one of those. If you're looking to go by performances in the World Cup, I thought Christopher Aja of Norway has done well. Lisandro Martinez of Argentina has looked okay. I'm trying to think about them. Why Hernandez's position was taken by Dinya just shows how competitive football is. Always have to prove yourself. Yep, you continuously have to prove yourself. It's not going to be handed to you. Still thinking. Still thinking for some of those defenders. We're into the very final minute of stoppage time. It's just a matter of seconds before the referee brings this game to a stop. Farouk says Issa Diop has done Amkowe Umbe for Mbappe. He was afraid of handling that ball because he knew if he touched his arm, it was going to be a penalty. So in trying to avoid making his body bigger to avoid a handball, he ended up creating the perfect, sort of shadow or dummy for for Kylian Mbappe to carry that ball, around him and beat Yassine Bono. It's full-time score, France 2-0 Morocco. Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele scores decide the tie as France advance to the semi-finals, and we'll be waiting whoever comes through between Spain and Belgium. That's tomorrow at 10 p.m. will be the kickoff time for that particular game. But quite a routine win for France as they march on. They did beat them by the same scoreline last time out, with Theo Hernandez and Rando Kolumwani scoring in the semifinals of the 2022 World Cup over in Qatar. So tomorrow at 10 p.m., Belgium will be in action. And then on Sunday at midnight, we'll have Norway versus England, while at 4 a.m., it will be Argentina versus Switzerland. That's the fixtures that will be coming your way. What is Mukowe Umbe in English? I think the stage was just big for him. It can feel that way. It can feel that way. But, it's a deserved victory for France. They created the most chances. They were the ones effective with their chances. Morocco struggled to create chances. I think they will agree that they came up against a very, very worthy opponent, and they lost to a worthy opponent indeed in Boston at so for today. So, it is what it is. Are you supporting Spain or Belgium? Nah, I won't be rooting for any. I'll just be enjoying the game for what it is. I'll be hoping that Charles de Catedral can replicate the sort of performance that he had against Team USA, and that Romelu Lukaku can have a cameo, that Yuri Tillemans can continue to command that midfield, and in the absence of Amadou Onana, Van Aken can also do the job with the likes of Nathan Ngoy in that backline. Then Max Di Cupia at left back, so to see. Then Thibaut Courtois perhaps with the heroics in goal. Then on the side of Spain, I'll be looking forward to maybe a decent cameo from Mikel Merino, a Lamine Yamal, perhaps, performance that we keep waiting for, but it doesn't feel like it has arrived. That sort of performance that we know he's capable of, then, I mean, basically that's a bad Team Spain. The rest does feel routine and, in a way. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So I'll be as neutral as cooking oil in water. So the two cannot mix. So I will not be feeling any side. I feel like you are a Spain supporter. Not really. Not really. I only supported Spain in 2010, and it was out of acknowledgement that they were the best footballing nation at the time. Squad-wise, they're really, really excellent under the charges of Vicente Del Bosque. I still rooted for my Brazil, but I knew our chances of making it further in the competition were really, really, were really not up there. So I supported my Brazil, but well knowing that Spain were going to win it, because that had been my prediction. So as soon as Brazil crashed out, I simply aligned with Spain to, see off the tournament. And I remember the final being as nervous, and the excitement for me came from, Cesc Fabregas providing that assist for Andres Iniesta. But like I keep saying, I'm Team Brazil, as Team Ghana. They are all out of the tournament. So I'm just enjoying the tournament for what it is, as simple as that. So no, I'm not, siding myself with anyone, So, okay. All right then. Viola, Shimi, Farouk, Cairo, thank you so much for having been part of tonight's podcast. United Road 10, always a pleasure to see you around. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, McKenna, thank you so much. And Till Gamer, it was a pleasure having you. Maurice Kato, and every single one of you that has been part of tonight's podcast. Perhaps until next time, we will look to do this again tomorrow morning. You've been such a wonderful and supportive audience. Farouk is saying something before we wrap this one up. You say, actually, Diop did a habeas corpus, if it was in law terms, to let Mbappe score by all means. Bye, sir. That's from Shimi. United Road 10 slept before we finished. It does look that way, or appear to be that way. But anyways, it's not been the most entertaining of games, to be fair. If somebody was watching this at the end of a very long, tiring day, they would have easily dozed through it. It did feel a bit dull for a good number of spells. Okay, you say you'll not forgive United Road 10. Anyways, until next time, guys, you've been such a great audience. Until tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning. What time will we be doing the broadcast? Because I have some errands to run in the morning, but we'll see. Stay blessed for now, and good night. Bye-bye.